Okay, we're here in the second afternoon. The sun is really warm now, the snow is gone, but we're here on the Niviuk stand at Stubai Cup. We're talking to Guillem Batlle, who is, well, tell us what you do.
Well, I'm an aerospace engineer. I'm contributing to Niviuk's research and development tasks. We are 8 people, so I'm one of those people who is contributing to innovation throughout Niviuk into the paragliding industry.
Okay, cool. So you, Niviuk, just announced this new back protection material.
Exactly.
What is that?
Well, it's a new protector technology that we developed in-house by all the Niviuk engineers, and it's a new concept in terms of protection that it's looking for a low thickness of the protector in order to be installed in high-performance harnesses. So what we were researching was the thin material that offer a good protective behavior that is comparable to foams and also other similar technologies that are used nowadays in paragliding.
So, it's low profile, Orikami it's called. It's what, 5.5 centimeters thick?
Yeah, exactly.
In the Drifter 2 harness. How does it perform?
So we rely on elastic deformation rather than plastic deformation. So thanks to the broken or the pre-folding shape that we wisely designed, when it's compressed, it completely deforms, but when you release the load, it recovers its shape. So that's the mechanism that we use to absorb energy, but also is a mechanism that helps us to use this protection for several repeated impacts. And we can prove via the laboratory test that it can protect the pilot for at least 6 high energy impacts.
6 high energy?
Exactly.
Okay.
At least, but of course, we advise all the pilots and all our customers to check the protector after each crash, because safety is our main concern, and it should be also for them its main concern.
Okay. What does the material look like? Is it honeycomb? How did you develop the shape of it?
Well, it's actually inspired by similar honeycomb technology. So honeycomb absorbers are widely used in aerospace industry, for instance, for absorbers on helicopters, also for absorbers on re-entry devices. And it's a technology that is well known for the aerospace industry, but there's a problem on using honeycombs. They use, for instance, aluminium or also polymer honeycombs, but one of the problems is that they exhibit the typical jerk, that is a high point of stress at the beginning of the deformation. So we took the technology from the honeycombs, but we decided to find another shape in order to avoid this jerk at the beginning of the deformation. So that's advantageous compared to conventional honeycombs.
How did you find that shape?
Well, of course, it consisted on researching. So research, you put some efforts, some resources, and you start researching for several solutions, looking into the literature and trying to go beyond this literature. So finding new solutions that are innovative in our sector.
It's sort of named after origami. Are you sitting there folding pieces of paper?
Exactly.
But are you literally sitting there folding pieces of paper, or just all on the computer?
No, we did it with computers, so computer simulations, and also with different tests in our laboratories. But the name comes from origami, that is the paper folding technique that Japanese are using, because of the shape that it has, and it folds when compressed. So it's like the structure is folding on itself when compressing. So we were inspired by this mechanism, and we decided to use Orikami, the K stands for Niviuk, as the name for the technology.
Okay, so how long have you been working on that?
Well, actually, it was not a short-term project. In fact, it was a strategic project for us that took more or less a year and a half to end up today presenting the final product. So it's a long development.
And I guess, why did you decide to investigate it? Is there not a similar sort of material already on the market?
Because we know the drawbacks of going to thinner protectors, and also the drawbacks of the conventional protectors that are used nowadays in the industry. So being safety our main concern, we decided to investigate new shapes and new technologies for 2 reasons. The first one is to reduce the thickness so that we can install this technology in high-performance harnesses so that the cross-section area can be decreased, and on the other hand is to give pilots tools that effectively protect them, not only for a crash, not only for completely vertical crash, but also for different angles on the impact and for many different situations when crashing. We achieved higher out-of-plane stiffness of the Orikami, so if you press the Orikami pieces from the sides, it's not deforming, so it stands inside the slots of the foam matrix that we designed. And if you crash from a lateral point of view or from frontal impact, it stays fixedly there and it protects you as well.
Okay. How does it compare to traditional foam protection?
Well, traditional foam protections rely on the collapse of the cells of the foam when impacted. So normally it's plastic deformation also. So when you are compressed and you suffer an impact, it's completely damaged, so you need to replace the foam because of some cells are collapsed. The difference in our case is that we rely on elastic deformation, so we can recover the shape and it offers the same protective behavior for several impacts.
Can you talk a little bit about the G measurements? Explain to me as a beginner what I should read into the figures.
Okay.
So what is the figure that you claim for the...
Okay, so each single piece of equipment that is sold in the European Union goes throughout an extensive procedure of homologation. There are two different standards. One is EN, European norm. The other one is LTF, that is for the German market. And what is done is to drop test from 165 centimeters the harness with the rescues, and you have to sustain 2 repeated impacts for the LTF standard and only 1 impact for the EN standard. So
for the LTF, it's like this.
Exactly, but no, it's not a rebound. So it's you drop test it, you take the harness again from the same height, and you drop test it again. But you cannot replace the protector in between the 2 drop tests.
And EN is only 1 drop.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's why there are some protectors that are only homologated following EN because they rely on plastic deformation, and there are others that can be approved via LTF because they rely, for instance, airbags or inflatable protectors. They can sustain 2 impacts because they rely in elastic deformation.
Yeah. Okay. And tell me about the G reading. What does that mean?
Okay. So the G reading is the acceleration or the deceleration that the pilot experiments when crashing. So it's like you are falling at a speed, for instance, 5.6 meters per second. At this height, 1.65 centimeters is equivalent to 5.6 meters per second of the impact. So when you impact, there's an energy transfer in between the floor and the harness receives this energy. So the harness needs to decelerate in order to absorb all this energy. So this is the values that are recorded during the test, and it is equivalent to the protective behavior of the protector. So the lowest the value, the better is the protector in terms of protection.
Okay. And what's the minimum value it has to get to?
Well,
what's the test?
There are 3 different values. So there's the maximum value. Nowadays is 50 Gs, the maximum. And it's like the instantaneous value. Then you have to check also the 35 Gs, that it's so the acceleration has to be below 35 Gs and it cannot be above 35 for more than 7 milliseconds. And afterwards is 25 Gs that the protector needs to exhibit lower acceleration, lower than 25 Gs for less than 20 milliseconds. So it's like 3 steps during the homologation.
Okay. And what does Orikami come in at?
Well, Orikami offers 45 Gs of the maximum peak, the only 5.5 centimeters. But if we look at other thicknesses, so the thicker it is, the best it protects. They exhibit for only 7 centimeters a value of 35 Gs, so it's a good result. So
do you think that this Orikami will also go into other harnesses as well as the high performance harnesses?
Yeah, I think so. Although, for instance, if you are looking for weight-light harnesses, I don't think it's a solution because it's not a light solution. So inflatable protectors are the best solution there because you are looking for the lowest weight possible. But of course, for conventional cross-country harnesses, I think that will have a role because the protective that it offers.
And is it expensive to make?
Well, yeah, it's expensive because it takes time during the manufacturing process.
Yeah. And is it something that you will license to the industry?
So it's developed by Niviuk, just thinking into the application into the paragliding industry, and that's why we decided to follow a patent application. So soon it would be approved, and we will release all the technical documents based on this patent of the Orikami.
And then you'll be able to sell it to everyone else.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the point.
Exciting. All right, that's like you've passed your A-level in aerospace engineering. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Great.